Hi students, welcome back. We're here to continue our discussion for Unit 5, Week 1. Today I'm going to share with you the story, The Golden Goose. We're going to talk a little bit about what makes a story a fairy tale, as well as find connections to some other fairy tales. Now remember, you can get this story, and you should get this story through your Connect Ed to-do list. You'll see it there. So this is The Golden Goose. It's a German fairy tale. And a lot of times when you see fairy tales, you'll see instead of by, you'll see the word retold. It's because fairy tales were handed down many times without a known author for many years before they became books. Chapter 1, Into the Forest. There once was a boy called Dummling. That was not his real name, but it's what everybody called him. Dummling had two older brothers. One day the eldest brother went into the forest to cut wood. His mother gave him a freshly baked cake and some sweet apple juice for his lunch. In the forest, the brother met a tiny old man. "Will you share your lunch with me?" asked the man. "I am very hungry." "I can't," said the brother. "I only have enough for one." The man shook his head and went away without a word. "I'd better eat my food now in case he comes back," said the brother to himself. He was in such a hurry he did not look before he sat down. He sat on a bee, which stung him. The brother rushed home in pain. All the way home he muttered to himself, "I didn't like the way that man looked at me." The family still needed wood, so the middle brother headed to the forest. His mother packed him the same lunch. He met the same tiny old man. "Won't you share your lunch with me?" asked the man. "I'm very hungry and thirsty." The middle brother considered the request. "No, I won't," he said. "Your hunger is not my problem. Please go away." Before the brother had even begun to chop wood, he slipped and twisted his ankle. He limped home muttering, "That was no accident." Chapter 2, The Gift of Good Luck. When there was no wood for the fire, Dummling asked if he could help. "Do you think you can handle the task?" asked his father. "I'm not sure," said Dummling. "I suppose if you hurt yourself, you will at least learn what not to do," said his father. "Go on then, and don't get into any trouble." Dumbling's mother shrugged and gave him some stale cake and sour juice for his lunch. When Dummling came to the forest, the tiny old man was there. "Will you share your food with me?" asked the man. "I am very hungry and thirsty." "Of course, it will be good to have company," said Dummling. As they sat down to eat, Dummling said in his humble way, "I'm afraid the cake may be a little stale and the juice a little sour." To his surprise, however, the cake had become freshly baked cake. The sour juice was now sweet and delicious. When they had eaten, the old man said, "You have been very generous. I would like to give you something in return." "Thank you. People don't usually give me things," said Dummling. "If you cut down that tree over there, you will find a special creation of mine. It is hidden inside the tree," said the man. "That's a very big tree," said Dummling, "but I will try." "I'm really giving you the gift of good luck," said the old man. The next minute he was gone. After much trouble, Dummling cut down the tree. He saw a glimmer of gold in the hollow trunk of the tree. His mouth fell open. There, nestled in the tree, was a goose. It had a gold beak, gold legs and feet, and fine gold feathers. "A golden goose? I've never heard of such a thing," said Dummling to himself. "I will take it home to the family. They will know what to do with it." He set off for home, walking slowly because the goose was very heavy. Chapter 3, Sticking Together. As Dummling walked, three sisters approached him. Seeing the goose, they were curious about this magnificent bird. "Look at those feathers," said the oldest girl. "They are so pretty. I would like to wear one in my hair." She tried to pluck one of the feathers from the goose's wing, but the minute her hand touched the goose, she was stuck to it. "What happened?" said the middle sister. "I can't let go of the goose," said the eldest. "It's as though the goose is a magnet and I am a nail." The middle sister tried to help. "Perhaps if I pull, you will come unstuck," she said. As soon as she touched her sister, however, she was stuck to her. The youngest sister rushed over to the others. "You are always trying to leave me out. Do you think you can have the golden feathers all to yourself?" she said. She grabbed the middle sister's arm. Soon she too was stuck. Not knowing what else to do, Dummling set off for home with the gold goose under his arm. The three sisters walked behind him, trying not to trip over each other. As they stumbled along the road, they met a woman from town. "You girls should be at school, not frolicking about," she said, tapping the youngest on the shoulder. "Oh no," yelled the woman, "I'm stuck." She had to run to keep up with the group. When the woman's husband saw her running after the girls, he scolded her. Act your age." He tried to take her by the arm, but he became stuck too. There were now 5 people running in a ragged line behind the boy with the goose under his arm. Chapter 4. The Serious Princess. Dumpling carried on in the direction of home. However, he was so confused by the human chain dragging behind him that he took a wrong turn. Soon the group found themselves in front of the king's castle. Now, this king had a daughter who was always serious. In fact, she had never laughed. Her father was very worried about her. He made a declaration that the first person to make her laugh would earn her hand in marriage. As the princess looked down from the balcony, she saw the procession of people stuck fast to the golden goose. Dumpling seemed to be leading a merry dance. "I'll admit that's pretty funny," said the princess to herself. The human chain twisted and turned. The princess began to giggle. The goose honked, causing one of the sisters to trip over her feet. The princess couldn't help herself. She began laughing loudly. The king was not sure about Dumpling, but it made him happy to see the princess laughing. Reluctantly, the king congratulated Dumpling on his good fortune. "You have earned the hand of my daughter in marriage. You will also gain a share of my kingdom." "Thank you, your highness. I have just one request," said the boy. "What is it?" said the king. "From now on, I would like everyone to call me by my real name, which is David." All right, so as we read that story, maybe you thought, hey, that reminds me of this story. So you will see several connections to other fairy tales in the story. For example, what other story do you know had 3 brothers? A big one, a middle-sized one, and a smaller one. And the smaller one turned out to be the hero of the story. It makes me think of and I'm sorry, as I write that, I remember, no, it was the oldest, biggest Billy Goat Gruff that was the hero. But 3 Billy Goats Gruff, 3 brothers. And again, later on in the story, you saw 3 sisters. So a lot of times fairy tales will use the number 3 when they're introducing characters or events. Another connection you may have seen was a story that we read in class that had a mean sister and a kind sister, and the kind sister was rewarded. So think about that for a second. Okay, Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. And if you remember, Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters was a version of a Cinderella story. And again, in Cinderella, you also see where the kind character wins out in the end, even though people look down on her and even though she's humble, like Dumpling. There's certainly a lot of geese in fairy tales, so you may have thought of the Jack and the Beanstalk story, which also had a goose in it, a magical goose. In that story, the goose laid golden eggs. In this story, the goose was gold. Maybe the chain of people walking together made you think of the giant turnip that we read before. And then, of course, there's been lots of fairy tales where someone wins the hand of the princess, either by making her laugh or solving some other kind of problem for her. So, and that's a pretty common theme as well. So remember, what makes a fairy tale? A fairy tale is having an element of magic, which we had in this story, and usually having a theme of good winning by the end. So use this recording to help you continue to do your assignments today, and we'll hopefully see you later on for the language arts lesson. See you soon.